Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again, doing another discography countdown of one of my favorite bands. Today we are going to be talking about some very symphonic black metal from Norway. This is Dimmu Borgir. They've been around for a very long time, put out some quality albums, put out some that aren't so great. Definitely more on the commercial side of the black metal spectrum, but nonetheless I still like a lot of their stuff. Maybe not all of it, but overall pretty fucking solid band. I really dig some of their earlier works and even some of the more commercial stuff. But let's just get right into this. They got 9 studio albums. I'm going to count them down from my least favorite down to my favorite. Coming in last at number 9 from 2010 is Abrahadabra. This is the one album I just really can't get behind. I don't like it at all. I don't even know what I would give it out of 10. 5 out of 10, I guess. It's too weird. It's not very consistent. It doesn't have the Dimmu sound that you had come to know. I guess Vortex had left the band at this point, and they got like a bunch of different singers to do some of the clean singing, and none of it is really very good. There is still like a Jewel Trace Through Coal that has a really fucking cool riff in it. Like they can still write some riffs with Galder fucking writing some good shit. Like he's from Old Man's Child. He knows how to write a good riff. And I mean, fucking Shagraff's vocals are still decent, but all in all, this album is just very inconsistent. It's not that enjoyable, and that's why it's coming in last for me. Up next at number 8, their most recent from 2018, is Ionian. This one is not bad. It's definitely an improvement over Abrahadabra, but it's still not really like on par with the older stuff. It was a bit of a comeback from Abrahadabra. Maybe the next time they release an album, it'll be even more of a progression into some better stuff. But this one, I'd probably still only give like 6 out of 10. Council of Wolf and Snakes is a good one. Interdimensional Summit is a decent song, but it's still just not consistent all the way through. There's a little bit of filler on here. It's just not as interesting as some of the older stuff. But all in all, it's okay. Up next at number 7, from 2003 is Death Cult Armageddon. This one is definitely one of their more popular albums. This like really got a lot of people into them, even though it was in the later stage of their career. This probably, I don't know for sure if it sold the most albums of all their albums. I don't know those kind of stats, but this was a very popular album, but I still like a lot of other ones better. Progenies of the Great Apocalypse was like the big hit of this album, and that's a pretty fucking good song. I love Red as Bird. There's still some really killer stuff on here. Like, to me, this is a 7 out of 10. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible either. This is still a very listenable album. I don't mind it at all. But it's coming in at number 7 because I like the other 6 more. Coming up next at number 6 is the debut from 1995, For All Tid. I actually like this one a lot, but it's very inconsistent as well. There's some really killer songs and some really weird stuff. It's like from that second wave, the initial second wave of black metal in the early to mid 90s, but it was kind of an outlier. Didn't quite live up to the quality of lots of the other bands, but it still had its own unique thing, a lot of piano and keyboard, and it's interesting. Like Under Korpen's Vinger is very good. Some of these other titles I'm not going to pronounce right, so don't shit on me. I'm not Norwegian, but Hundred Kongens is what I call it. I think it's actually like it's very long. Hundred Kongens, Skorgen, something, something. And Riajborn Speller, Dragon Stud or something. I always just call them Hundred Kongens and Rajborn. Those are a couple other great songs on here. But yeah, all in all, this is probably 7.5 out of 10. It's not a standout early black metal album, but it's definitely still worth a listen. And you could see where they were going to go after this. Coming up next at number 5. From 2001, I have got Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia. This was definitely a very popular album as well. Definitely got them more in the mainstream direction, but it's pretty good. I feel it's a lot better than Death Cult Armageddon. This one's probably like 7.5, borderline 8 out of 10. A pretty solid album. Kings of the Carnival Creations, really fucking cool song. The Maelstrom Mephisto, just lots of good riffs. But the orchestration is so intense on here too. It's so just all around. Like this isn't the kind of symphonic black metal like Emperor. Like Emperor knows how to balance it a little bit better. This is kind of almost too in your face with the orchestrations. But I still don't mind it for what it is. Yes, it's a little more mainstream of a black metal album, but it's still pretty fucking good. And I still like it. Up next at number 4 from 2007 is In Sorte Diaboli. I actually really fucking love this album. They scaled back the orchestrations a little bit. They got Hellhammer on drums, and his doubles are just fucking nuts. Vortex does some clean singing on here, like in The Sacrilegious Scorn. That clean vocal line is just fucking so catchy. It's so awesome. Serpentine Offering is great. The Chosen Legacy. Like, yeah, this is a very legible album. You can understand everything they're screaming. It's definitely in the more mainstream direction as well. But I just fucking really like it. It's just really goddamn catchy. Up next at number 3, this is when we're getting into the really good stuff now. Spiritual Black Dimensions from 1999. This was a great fucking album. This was a follow-up to Enthroned Darkness Triumphant. It doesn't necessarily quite hit the peaks of that album, but it's pretty fucking close. This is a really good album. The Insight Anti-Catharsis, really long, great song. Dreamside Dominions. Like, they had some long epics on this album. This was the first album that had Vortex doing some cleans on there. And it's fucking great. When they brought that in, it's like, whoa, I didn't know that's what this band was missing. But shit, yeah, it really took it to the next level. Reptile's a great song. Just all in all, a really killer fucking symphonic black metal album. And that's why I made my top 3. And coming in next, 2 more albums. And these are just fucking classics. I absolutely love them. Coming in number 2 from 1996 is Stormblast. This is their second album. And this one leaps and bounds better than For All Tid. I absolutely love Stormblast. This is like at least a 9 out of 10, maybe a 9.5 out of 10. Absolutely killer fucking songs on here. The songwriting got so much better. There's still a lot of piano parts, but it's not like heavily orchestrated like the later stuff. This is still like a second wave black metal feel to it, just with their own spin on it. Alt Lists and Summonat Ken, I don't know how to pronounce these again. Stormblast, Dodsford, Antichrist. Just absolutely killer songs on this album, and that's why it's this high. It's a fucking classic, and it should get a listen. Even if you don't like Dimmu Borgir, go listen to Stormblast. You might change your mind. But that leaves one album, and that's by far my favorite Dimmu album. It's the first one I heard by them. It's what got me into the band. It's from 1997, Enthroned Darkness Triumphant. Just so many hits. Yes, it's more in a mainstream direction. That's what Dimmu did after Stormblast. They went into a more mainstream direction. But this album is fucking killer, so I don't care if people consider it commercial or selling out. It's still good tunes. Like, it's blast beats. There's fucking great riffs, so who cares what? Like, it's a great fucking album. Morning Palace, Spellbound by the Devil, In Death's Embrace, that fucking opening riff with the piano too. Jesus. And the closer ballad is Succubus in Rapture. If you can call a ballad with screaming, but it kind of is. Just front to back, absolutely killer album. If you've never heard Dimmu Borgir, I'd say start with Enthroned Darkness Triumphant. You'll know what you're in for, whether you're into that kind of commercial direction of black metal. But, like, I am not shitting on it. I fucking love Dimmu Borgir, other than maybe a couple albums. But all in all, like, I really like this band, and that's why I'm reviewing them. Anyways, let me know down below what your favorite Dimmu album is. What's your least favorite? Do you like Abrahadabra? I don't, but maybe you do. Anyways, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Until next time, Hammerheart Metal Reviews out.